So I have already shown you this at the end of the bracelet, but I wanted to come back on and show you at the beginning. This bracelet is 2 inches wide, okay? And I went, I think it was 7 down so that I could put the clasp on it. If you go 5 down, which is what is in the tutorial, you will probably be able to use your C-clip on that. My wrist is 6.5 inches around, so that would definitely fit my wrist. Okay, just wanted to come on and show that to you. Hello everybody, Lila's Gigi here, and today I'm going to show you how to make Cupid's Crush by the Looming Artist. She has some awesome designs, I mean just tons and tons of designs. Some of them have tutorials and some of them don't. Give her a follow for me and go on and like her photos. I mean, my gosh, there are just so many of them. This is one of her older designs, and so she's got some new ones out, and they are fantastic. So we'll, eventually, I'm sure she'll get tutorials done for those too. But today we're going to do Cupid's Crush. Now, I'm going to start with the side, and the first thing, this is your loom setup. I'm sorry. So here, drop down, and drop down, so it's a V pattern. Make sure that all of your arrows are pointing away from you, and the open ends of all of your pin bars are pointing away from you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my closure band, which I don't always remember to do that, but I am today. So what we want to do is we just want to follow the border. Okay, I'm going to go out to the side, diagonal, and I am beading my borders. So every other band will have this on it, and I'm going to try to do it in red, white, and black. So we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so you're going to have, if you're beading, you'll have plain band, beaded band, plain band. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and you want to do that all the way up to the end of the loom. Now, I believe once you get up there, it's going to go like this. Now, Andrea stopped 5 pins. Oops! Oh, I thought that broke. 5 pins from the top. I'm going to drop it down, I think 2 pins, because I like to do the clasps on my bracelets. Make sure you push all of your bands down too, by the way. And also, I don't know about you guys, but if you have an old card, it's really good for pushing bands down, just so you know. It saves on the nails, saves on your fingers, so I have that handy. So plain band, beaded band, and then plain band, beaded band, all the way up to the end of the loom. Like I said, I believe she stopped 5 on the 5th pin from the top and then came in like this. So go ahead and finish your border, and I will be back with you when I finish. Okay, I am back, and what I did was I stopped 7 pins from the top. If you're following the flipogram, you'll stop 5, and then that will bring it up to here. Okay. Again, I like them smaller, so that's why I dropped it down too. And I never know whether the bracelet's going to be tight or if it's going to be loose, and if I decide to wear it, I don't want it too big. So anyway, that's why I dropped it down to there. Excuse me. So this is what your loom should look like. Okay. Now, I have gone back and forth with trying to decide on colors and band placement, and what I think I'm going to do is Rainbowloom, in my opinion, and I'm not the only one, feels that they don't have a real good red. So I pulled these out of the popsicle pack. Okay, I think that's a burgundy and burgundy sweets, and I think that's a red sweets. And I'm not sure if I have enough to do just one color, so I'm going to alternate these bands that I'm laying now, and I'll show you how I did that. And of course you don't have to do that, but I want to make sure that I have plenty of bands, so I'm going to alternate them. Okay, so let's get going on that. Second pin bar, first pin, you're going to go straight up, diagonal down to the left, and diagonal up and to the right. Okay, and I'm changing colors. Same thing, straight up, diagonal down to the left, and diagonal up to the left. Okay, so you're going to do that all the way up to the end of your loom. And let's go over to the other side here. And I used, what color did I use? I used the burgundy. So, oops, sorry about this. I got to pull a few more of that red out. Okay, so second pin bar from the right, first pin, going to go straight up. I like to try to keep my bands straight, even though they get twisted when you loop them up, but the straighter they are, the less twisted they get, is my opinion. So straight up, diagonal to the right, diagonal up to the right. Again, I'm changing colors. So straight up, diagonal down to the right, and diagonal up. Whoops, see? That's what happens when you don't push your bands down. So diagonal up and to the right. So follow that pattern all the way up to the end of your loom, and when I get to the top, I will show you how to lay those last bands. Okay, so I am back, and the last thing I did was this sort of a zigzag thing here. So we need to connect to the top of the border. So just lay one band straight up, okay? Just like that. All right, so this is what your loom should look like. And I apologize for the background noise, but I had to turn my air conditioner on. It is 99 degrees here at, what, 1:30, 1:34 in the afternoon. So whoever says San Diego has the perfect weather doesn't know what they're talking about, because we get our share of heat and cool, not cold, but cool. So. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to lay single bands on 3 and 6, okay? So Andrea has used beaded bands, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to lay this band here, and I have these. I've beaded these. I've never used these little guys like this before, and I thought it would be kind of fun. So that's what I'm doing. So straight band or plain band, beaded band, and get them on there. Plain band, just one, whoops, and beaded band. So if you're not using beads, that's fine. Just take your single chain all the way up to the end of the loom, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I told you 6, but it's 5. My apologies. So on 3 and 5. Straight up, beaded band, straight, whoops, not too many. Straight up, and beaded band. Okay, so take your single chains all the way up to the top, all the way up to the border, and I will do the same thing, and then I will meet you back here with the next step. Okay, so I'm back, and I took my last single chains on 3 and 5. Okay, I know originally I told you 6, but I guess I just can't count. Anyway, this is what your loom should look like. Okay, so now trying to decide. I know I'm going to use black up the center. I think I'm going to use white right here. I think I'm going to use the white from the yin and yang pack. Okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to do zigzags all the way up the loom. So first pin, second pin bar to the right, diagonal to the left, diagonal to the right, and diagonal to the left. So you want to take that all the way up to the end of your loom. You're going to go over to the other side here. Second pin bar from the right, first pin, diagonal to the left, diagonal to the right, diagonal to the left, and diagonal to the right. Oh, I guess I missed pushing a few bands down. There we go. Okay, so take that all the way up to the end of your loom, both sides, and I will meet you back here when I'm finished. I am back, and the last thing I did was I laid these zigzags right here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to lay beaded bands. Andrea had used one with 4 holes, so that's what I did. But if you don't have one with 4 holes, I believe you could probably still lay one across here, because I think they get looped up. So since I have the 4 holes, what we're going to do is and mine are going long ways like this, and they're one-sided, so I'm going to lay them down. I'm going to put my first one right here, maybe. Okay. And then I'm going to grab the other end of this because it's going to be a long stretch to the 3rd pin up. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to actually hold on to this band because I don't want it pulling out. I'm going to bring it across because this belongs in the center and put it on the 3rd pin bar from the right, first pin. I grab this and take it up to the 3rd pin and drop it. Okay, so that's what it will look like, and I'm using the clear bands, which I like to do on things like this. So I'll lay one more with you. Excuse me. Same thing, it's face down. I'm going to hold the one on the top. I'm putting, and you're going to attach it to the 3rd pin right here. Okay. So you attach it where you attach. Oops. Or you let me put that down. Or you attach the last one. Okay. So that's. Whoops. That's not even on, is it? Let's try this again. Okay. I believe that's on. I'm going to grab the other end of this and bring it up to the 2nd pin above where I just attached. Okay, I'm going to hold on to this one. It might be easier for me to just use my hook. Well, that's what I thought, huh? Okay, so it is. And then I'm going to grab the other end of this because I don't want it pulling out. Okay, and I'm going to attach it right there. So if you just had a bead with single bands, you would put them across here, and it would go across. You would skip this one and put one across, and skip and put it, and skip and put it. Okay, so this is what it should look like, and I'm going to go ahead and finish mine, and I will be back with you. Okay, so I am back, and I finished my beads in the center here. Now, just in case you're wondering why I use these stretchy bands, I use them because they go through much easier on the beads that have the smaller holes. And I happened to get, this was a bracelet that I bought really inexpensively, and I don't remember where. And this is how I get a lot of my beads. I'll buy, you know, the stretchy bracelets and then just take them apart. So that's how I got those beads. So next, and I'm going to use the jet black from the Yin and Yang pack. And I believe I've got everything pushed down. I'm looking at it and it looks pretty good. So what we're going to do, 3rd pin bar, first pin, diagonal to the left, diagonal down to the right, and then we're going to go up from that center, diagonal up to the left and diagonal up to the right. I'm going to go up to the 3rd pin in the center, diagonal down to the left, diagonal down to the right, and then diagonal up to the left and diagonal up to the right. Okay, so finish that pattern all the way up your loom, and make sure you've pushed these bands down on the side because you're going to be adding these to it. Okay. Andrea uses a lot of, excuse me, a lot of double borders. So once you finish that, once you finish this up the end, if you're going to do a double border, then would be the time to lay it. I know that these are coming back out to each other, and it will be a little thick over here for me. I like the thinner bracelets. But if you were going to choose to do a double border, now is the time to do it. You would lay that double border just like you laid the first one, starting here, out, 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 up, out, 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 up. Okay, I believe we are done laying bands, so I'm going to go ahead and finish mine and turn the loom around, and I will be back with you when I'm finished. Okay, I am back, and the last thing I did was I laid this band up here, and then this one was the very last band that I laid. Okay, I put a triple cap band on here. If you have laid the double border, now is the time to loop it back up. So what you'll do is you'll go through the cap band and loop that top border back to itself all the way up to the top. I did not lay a double border, and I guess, you know, I probably should have for the tutorial, but if you know how to lay the lower border, the bottom border, then you know how to lay the top border. It's the exact same thing. But now will be the time to loop that back up. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to break this lower diagonal. These diagonals here are going to come back to themselves, and then these are going to go back to themselves. So because these are coming up and I did not do that double border, I'm going to have to put a cap band right here. And I'm putting a triple. Okay. And I'm also going to have to put one right here. Okay. Now, let's see. Okay, so we're going to do third pin bar, first pin. I'm going to reach in and grab that black band, the diagonal that goes to the center. I'm going to go in here and grab this diagonal that goes to the center and bring it back to itself. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to loop these back to themselves out towards the border. Now, I'm not sure which one is on top. Okay, so mine to the right is on top. I'm going to go in, grab that, bring it back. Okay, look just like that. Now what we're going to do is the same thing we did here. So the pattern is to bring these up to the center and then these out. So where we just dropped that off, we're going to go in and grab that diagonal, loop it back to the center, go in and grab the next diagonal on the right hand side there and loop it to the center. We're going to go in here and grab the one that's on top. I believe that's the one. Somehow I must have laid this one backwards, so it's going out to the left. In this case, it's probably okay because they're just going back to each other. You know, they're not making a pattern in the center or anything, so that should be good. So let's finish this up for a little bit. We're going to go in here. That's the third pin up. Bring it to the center. Third pin from the right, third pin up. You're going to go in and bring that band to the center. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep my hands out of the way. It makes it a little difficult for looming. I'm going to go into that same band, same pin, and be careful of, well, I'm getting it caught. Be careful of your bead there, okay? Just grab that and loop it back to itself. Go in and get the next one, which should be on the bottom, and bring it back to itself. I'll do this with you one more time. I'm going to go in here, grab the band that's on top. Oh, come on. And you do have that beaded band on there. And actually you have two of them on there, so just be careful with them. Bring that to the center. Go in, grab the band that's on top, and bring it to the center. Okay, go into the center. Do this with you one more time. Grab your top band, and loop it back to itself. Have the next band, which should be the only one on there, and loop it back to itself. Okay, so rewind if you have to, but finish this all the way up to the end of your loom, and I will be back with you. Okay, I am back, and the last thing I did was looped out these right up here. Okay, those diagonals to each other, to themselves. And this is what your loom should look like. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on these zigzags, and they're going back to each other. So you're going to reach in, grab the top one, which should be the one that goes to the bottom, and, oh, you know what I didn't do? Okay, so this has this bead on it, okay? So you're going to have to go in through that, okay, and bring it back to itself. Otherwise, you're not going to get the teardrop, and those won't get looped up, okay? Same thing, you're going to go in here, go through all those bands, including that one with the bead on it, and bring it back. Go up to this one. A little bit different because this one does not have the bead on it. Bring it back to itself. Grab the diagonal that goes up to the left and bring it back to itself. I'll do this one more time. This has, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4 up, has the beaded band on it. So you're going to go through that, okay, to make sure that you catch it and bring that top band. I thought I went through them all. Well, I guess I didn't go through them all. There we go. There's 2 of them on there. Okay, bring it back to itself. Go through all of them again. Grab that top band and bring it back. Okay, I'm going to do the other side with you. This has one on it, and it only has one, so you'll have to make sure you go through that. Grab that top band, bring it back to itself. Go in through everything, grab the next top band, and bring it back to itself. Next one up, 1, 2, 3 up, does not have a beaded band on it, so just bring it back. Go in, grab the one diagonal to the right, bring it back. This one has 2, and every one until you get to the top is going to have 2 on it now. Make sure you go through everything. Grab that top band, which is diagonal down to the right, bring it back. Going through everything on that peg. Grab the diagonal that goes up to the right. Okay, so go ahead and finish both of those. Get those diagonals, get the zigzags back to themselves, and push your bands down, and I will be back with you when I'm finished. Okay, so I finished this last zigzag here and here, and this is what your loom should look like. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, on the third pin bar, first pin, we're going to loop up all of those single, and where is mine hiding? I'm going to loop up all of the single chains, okay, just straight up. Go in, last one on there, should be easy to get, straight up and straight up. Okay, going to go over to the 5th pin bar, first pin, and loop up all those single chains. And it's the last one, the last band on that pin, so they should be very easy to get. Okay, push all of your bands down prior, which I didn't, but make sure you get all of your bands down and finish those single chains all the way up to the end, and I will be back with you. I am back, and I looped up my single chains on 3 and 5 all the way to the border. Okay, I was going to push all of my bands down like right here, but I'm going to wait because we're going to, the next step is going to alleviate some of that before I push those down. So what we're going to do is turn this sideways. Let me see if I can get a better picture here. And we're going to take the bottom, which happens to be the bottom of this one. We're skipping the first one because it only has 2 on it. So we're going up to the second pin bar, second pin. We're going to reach in and grab just, well, if I can get in there, kind of difficult on this angle. I'm going to reach in and grab that bottom, and in my case it's the white band, just a single one, the one on the very bottom, and just loop it over and drop it. Same thing on the next one, loop it over and drop it. The next one, make sure I got in there. Like I said, the angle is really hard for me right now. It's easier when you just have it on your lap or something and you can just turn it any way you want. So it will look like this all the way up the loom, okay? I'm going to go over to the other side. Hopefully this one will be a little bit easier. Again, we're skipping, whoops, so sorry. We're skipping this one and we're going to go to this one. I'm going to reach in, grab that bottom, just a single one. Let's see here. I'm going to grab just a single one and loop it, and that's the bottom one right there. You can see that up and over. Just drop it off over that pin. Go up to the next one, do the exact same thing. Just grabbing the one single bottom, looping it over, and the next one up and over. Okay? And getting caught. And this is what it should look like when you're done. Let me get this back into focus. You'll have these bands going straight up, just like this. Okay? So go ahead and finish that, and I will be back with you. Okay, I am back, and the last thing I did was looped these over, that bottom band up and over, and that's what you see right there. Okay? A couple more steps, and then we'll be able to take this off the loom. How exciting. Yay! All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work these single bands and these zigzags up here. So second pin bar, first pin, you want to go in, grab the one that goes straight up, bring it back to itself, and there's a lot of bands on here, and I pushed them down, but because I used LE, they're still a little thick in there. Excuse me. All right, so we're going to go into that same pin, and we're going to take this band right here, this lower diagonal, and there's a lot of bands on there, so make sure you just get that one and bring it back to itself. Okay, so you can see that's a little tight, so I'm going to pull it out a little bit and then bring it back. Now there are, like I said, there are a lot of bands on there, so you can kind of wiggle it to get it to have that teardrop. I'm going to go in, grab the next band. Again, they're tight. Bring it back to itself. Going in, grabbing that one that goes straight up, and bringing it back to itself. I'll do that with you one more time on this side. Going to go in, grab the top band, and I'm actually going to, once I get it over here, I think I'm going to pull it with my fingers. Just a little bit. I'm afraid of it breaking. I've never used these sweets before, so I get a little nervous. Okay. So I'm going to go in and grab the diagonal that goes up and to the left. Again, I'm going to give it a little tug with my fingers to pull it out. It seems like if you pull with your hook, it has a better tendency to break. I don't know. I don't get why that is, but it is. I think it's just a stress point, you know, right here as opposed to grabbing, you know, two bands and pulling it. Okay? So, your next one, I pulled that up. We're going to go in, grab this one. I'm going to give it a tug, bring it back to itself, to go in and wiggle that a little bit. Next one on top is a diagonal that goes up and to the left. I'm going to grab that one also, bring it straight up. Straight diagonal to the left, back to itself, and then this one goes straight up. Okay, so finish that all the way to the end of your loom. Excuse me. We're going to go over to the right hand side here. Second pin bar from the right, first pin. You can go in and grab that one that goes straight up. Bring it back. Go into that same pin, grab your diagonal down and to the right, and bring it back to itself. Go in and grab the diagonal that goes up to the right. These make me nervous. And bring it back to itself. Okay. Go into that same pin and bring that one that goes straight up back to itself. I'll do this with you one more time. Go in, grab the one on top, which is the diagonal down to the right. Again, I'm going to use my fingers to pull that. And you know, like I said, I think it's because I've used the LE, so they're a little bit tighter. Then go in and grab the diagonal that goes up and to the right. Well, if I can get it. And bring it back to itself. And then the band that goes straight up. Okay, so you want to finish that all the way up to the end of your loom. And then when you're finished with that, come back and we're going to loop up the border, and then we can take it off the loom. All right, so I'll see you back here in just a few moments. We are almost done. So the last thing I did was I looped these out, and then this last band right here. Same thing on the other side, okay? Excuse me, sinuses are going crazy today. So what we're gonna do, now we're just gonna loop out our border bands. And go in, grab the top band, bring it back, go through everything, grab the next band, bring it back, and next band, and then the next band. So you just want to do that all the way up to the end of your loom. Okay, same thing on the other side. I keep hitting my camera. Out into the right, go in, grab the bottom band, out into the right, next bottom band, out into the right, and then go through everything, grab that bottom border band and bring it up. So finish your borders all the way out to the top, and then I will meet you back when I'm finished. Okay, so I am back, and I wanted to try something a little bit different this time. So what I'm going to do, what I would normally have done, would be to reach in through all of these bands, through that pin, and grab my closure bands that I had already put on there, okay? And then I am going to, well, you know what, I have a C-clip, so let's try that. I usually have a problem with the C-clips because my fingers are big and my nails are in the way, and yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have a problem with that today. So let me struggle and get this on here, I hope. Come on. Well, you know what I've got? You know what I'm gonna do is I have two bands on there. So I'm gonna hold on to one of them, and I'm going to pull the other one off, and that might be what my problem is, that I put a double closure band on there, and they did not want to go through that. So let's try this again. And I'm right-handed, so I don't know why I'm doing it left-handed. Okay, so you get to see me struggle with this. I don't know why I have such a problem with the C-clips, but they don't usually like me. Okay, so that is on. It is secure. Okay, not going anywhere. So what I did this time was I took my bracelet and undid it up to here. So, and this is what I did. I just very carefully pulled all of these off on the side. Oops, sorry, it's on the edge of the table, to release the tension. Okay, and then I went in and pulled the other ones up, and you can go straight across. This is kind of odd the way you need to pull them off because they're staggered, you know. Excuse me. So I'm going to pull that guy off, and I just wanted you to see, you know, so I didn't have to show you how to bring it off and then come back and show you the bracelet itself, and I was just trying to combine a couple of steps here. Okay, so to the end, yay, almost done. Let me get this middle one, very careful because it's stuck. And this one, and then the last one. And this is what I have. Oh, it's pretty. Pretty, huh? I'm liking that. I have bands to fix and beads to straighten. But there you go. And I need to decide if I'm going to leave these odd or, you know, put them in a certain way. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out, but it helps to pull your bands to the side here. It helps to straighten some of those out before you actually get in there and, you know, get going with it. Pretty, very pretty, even with the black in there. I used the wider beads so the black doesn't show as much as the other one did. And unfortunately, I couldn't get anything other than the clear in there, so you can kind of see the clear. but I still think it's very pretty. It is, let's see how wide it is. Excuse me. It is 2 inches wide, and I did not go all the way to the top. So let's see what. Perfect for me. Perfect for me for adding the clasps that I like to add, the magnetic ones. So if you had gone all the way to the top for a 6.5 inch wrist, it would have met, so you could use that C clip. Very, very pretty. Cupid's Crush, I believe it is. Cupid's Crush? Oh my goodness. I can't even remember. I believe it was Cupid's Crush. If not, I apologize, but I was just so excited to get it finished and, you know, work on it that I didn't even think about the name of it. Oh my goodness, I'm so bad. I apologize to Andrea for that faux pas. Yes, Cupid's Crush, I was correct. And this is the one that she used on her flipogram. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. And this one is mine. Pretty, huh? I love all that red. Unfortunately, you know, it's not a true red like the red on the bead here, but it's close enough, I think. Look at you. Anyway, this Cupid's Crush was created by the Looming artist. Give her a follow for me on IG, like her photos, and if you enjoyed this tutorial, then go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you'd like, and subscribe to my channel here, and yeah, then we'll see you at the next tutorial. All right, great. Take care.